Hello, everybody. We're just going to jump right into it because we have a couple of ridiculous stories. So, the first one I want to talk about is the Olympic canoeist David Hearn, who was arrested and being charged with a felony, people, a felony. And they're saying he could face up to 10 years in prison. And all he simply did was he pulled a piece of the blue rubber liner that's supposed to be at the bottom of the reflecting pool. He grabbed it. And Janine Boxwine Pirro, who's the DA in the DC area, is charging him with a felony. And he could face up to 10 years. So let's roll the clip.
The U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia.
Hi, everybody.
Behind the podium to announce David Hearn, a three-time U.S. Olympian, was indicted by a grand jury in connection to alleged vandalism of the reflecting pool in Washington.
He damaged the pool. He damaged this pool.
The 67-year-old was arrested in June after officials say he was seen kneeling down by the edge, reaching into the water.
Our evidence further shows that the National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands.
She said National Park Service employees witnessed him violently pulling up and damaging the rubber liner. Why are they depending on National Park Service employees to testify to this? There's cameras all around this reflecting pool. All they have to do is go back to the tape to see when he did this, and you should be able to see if he actually violently pulled up this rubber lining or if he just reached in and grabbed a piece of it. They don't have any video evidence to say this. And this is what's going to happen, people. He's already been indicted, and like everyone knows, or if you don't know, you can indict a ham sandwich, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But they don't have video evidence showing this. I think what's going to happen is they're going to pressure these National Park Service employees to lie and say that he violently reached into the pool and ripped this liner. That's what they're going to do. They're going to tell these people, this is what you're going to say on the stand, or you're going to lose your job.
First, he has surrounded the water near the Lincoln Memorial after accusations by President Trump that vandals slashed the pool's liner.
We caught some people vandalizing our beautiful reflecting pool. We have the reflecting pool. They took a cutter, a box cutter or something very sharp.
He then stated that someone dumped fertilizer in the water that caused algae.
Fertilizer doesn't go well with water.
The commander-in-chief ordered the $16 million renovation of the reflecting pool that had suffered leaks and structural problems. The project began ahead of America's 250 when the pool was drained in April and later refilled. Then issues arose with a deep blue paint that was added to the bottom and an algae bloom.
Today is about accountability for damaging a national resource, a national treasure, and that is the reflecting pool.
Okay. So they're talking about somebody pouring some sort of fluid, hydrogen peroxide into the pool and damaging the pool. They're talking about somebody with a carpet knife cutting a 350-foot long slit into the liner of the pool. You notice all these stories that you're hearing about this reflecting pool are pointing their fingers in the direction of somebody. They don't know who these people are. They don't have film damaging the pool. Not once have they ever mentioned the person who was contracted to work on this pool. Never once mentioned about the shoddy work that he did and the fact that this liner did not adhere to the bottom of the pool. They're saying that some unknown people poured hydrogen peroxide in the pool, which caused the algae growth. Not to mention that they used water from the Potomac River, which has algae in it, to fill the pool. They didn't mention that Donald Trump and the presidential motorcade drove across the bottom of the reflecting pool before they filled it. Now, in case you people don't know, and this is it for this story because it's so ridiculous, The presidential motorcade vehicles can weigh up to 20,000 pounds each because they're heavily armored and the tires and things like that. So any normal person would think to themselves, why in the world would you drive multiple 20,000 pound vehicles across the bottom of a pool? There's no way those vehicles could have cracked the bottom of the pool or damaged the rubberized blue liner at the bottom. No, they're not accountable for anything like that. Not the contractor who did shoddy work. It's these so-called people that we can't identify because they're not producing any film from any of the cameras that are on 24/7 around this pool. I'm hoping that David Hurd is cleared of this. And once he is, people, if and when this anti-weaponization fund is created or not, I hope he gets a few $1 million from this. But I digress. We're going to move on, people. Second story that I want to talk about is Kash Patel and what we're calling the FBI now, which I don't think this department that he's running rises to the privilege of being called the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Apparently, Donald Trump has directed him to look into the 2020 election again. And he's assigning 200 agents, people, 200 agents to investigate if the 2020 election was indeed rigged. Now, if you don't remember, back then, Donald Trump's acting Department of Homeland Security secretary, along with other people in his own party, said this was the most secure election in history or in our nation's history. Let's roll the call.
This morning in the FBI's investigation into Georgia's 2020 election, the Bureau now requesting an additional 260 agents from across the country be added to the investigation.
So this stems back to the raid that you might remember happened in January when the FBI seized 700 boxes of election materials from the Fulton County election hub. So in this new memo, the FBI says the agents would check an estimated 708 records by July 17th. The FBI has not commented, though, on the memo. President Donald Trump lost the state of Georgia, you might remember, in 2020 and repeatedly claimed there was widespread voter fraud. There has never been any evidence of this, though. Georgia's election results were counted 3 times, including once by hand.
Now, if you recall, during that raid, the former director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was on scene there. Why? Why did she need to be there? We'll never know because Tulsi Gabbard is no longer in the employ of the Trump administration, but that should have raised a red flag right there. I think that they were trying to concoct a story that the election was indeed rigged, which it's not. And you just saw the coverage there that this has already been debunked. So again, the 2020 election is gone. And it seems that every time Trump or the party that he represents loses an election, it was rigged. He didn't say anything about the primaries that just passed where some of the candidates where he endorsed won. They weren't rigged. It's only rigged when they lose. So this just shows you the ridiculousness of this man and this party and the resources that they're wasting on something that cannot be proved. But again, I digress. And we're just going to move on to the next one. Megyn Kelly. So just to give a brief history, the Supreme Court tore down the TPS bill, the TPS bill, temporary protection. It's temporary protection for people who are looking for citizenship status here in the United States. Supreme Court basically tossed that out the window. So now, the way it stands, Haitians, I believe Somalis, pretty much anybody who has skin color, and they're here working on their citizenship or what have you, they have just had targets put on their backs. and they're going to be shipped back to the countries where they escaped from people. I'm talking about people who were running for their lives and just trying to find somewhere safe to be and to protect their families. But the Supreme Court just basically said, these people don't count. And you can ship them out of the country back to wherever they came from. And Megyn Kelly, this non-human, went on her show and ranted about Haitian people. Play the clip.
Look, this has been going on for over a dozen years. Go home. Get out. We know our country's better than yours. That's because we filled it with our work ethic and our culture and our values. You being here only dilutes it for us, those who built it and live it. And half of you people, more than half, you won't assimilate. We don't want you. We don't care if you're offended. Get out. Go home. Go back to Haiti.
Because we built it? Megan, in case you don't know, this country was built on the backs of slaves for free. We built this country. My ancestors built this country. We were brought here against our will. And you're talking about people, again, who were escaping for their lives, and you're telling them to go back. What kind of person are you? Continue, please.
I'm thinking about our friends in Ohio who've been dealing with these TPS Haitians for years now, who are drunk driving all over their towns and killing people. This is the whole cats and dogs thing. Like, they don't want to live like Americans live. And this was supposed to be it was supposed to be temporary help. And it's turned into another backdoor way of allowing someone permanent residency here.
Pause the clip. Drunk driving, killing people, eating cats and dogs. We don't have any drunk drivers in this country? We don't have any murderers in this country? And just to make it plain, people, or to set it straight, that cats and dogs story was a made-up story. Never been proved or anything like that. Also, the Haitian population, they are one of the biggest contributors to this country's economy. Again, people, these are people who are running for their lives. And they come over here and they work so hard just to make a living, just to protect their own family. They cannot enjoy what naturalized citizens enjoy as far as, medical benefits and things like that, because they're not full American citizens yet. But they still come and they still work harder than a lot of Americans do today. And the only thing she has to say is get out, go the fuck back, because she just simply does not like them because of the color of their skin. All of you racist people out there, or you people who just don't seem to like these people because of the color of their skin, I want you to look at me. Look at the color of my skin. You don't know me from Adam. If we were walking down the street together, you would look at me. Megyn Kelly would look at me and automatically hate me just because the color of my skin. You don't know me, people. You don't know the life I led. You don't know how I grew up. You don't know me from anything. You don't know my intelligence. You don't know my education. All you know is that you hate me because I have brown skin. Now, I'm going to remind Megyn Kelly and all of you other racists out there. Christopher Columbus did not discover this country. Amerigo Vespucci did not discover this country. Neither one of them ever set foot on what we call the United States right now. Columbus was looking for a trade route to Italy, and to show you what a great navigator he is, he ended up halfway around the world. Amerigo Vespucci was in the Caribbean, and he mentioned something about what we call the United States of America today. So they named this land America after Amerigo Vespucci. Now, I'll take you back a little more. Megyn Kelly, now I'm going to assume she's Irish because of her surname. Didn't the Irish people flee Ireland and came to this country looking for a better life for their families? Didn't we break from England for religious persecution and things like that, and we created our own country? Aren't we celebrating 250 years of independence from these other countries who are oppressing our people? But Megyn Kelly will sit there and rant. And I know part of it is just for clicks. But what kind of person are you to have this much hatred inside of you for somebody who doesn't look like you, for someone who has brown skin? Growing up, all I used to hear is these fucking Mexicans are coming over here and taking our jobs. I don't see any white people sitting in the Home Depot parking lots waiting to get picked up for some day work. I don't see any white people out in Kennett Square picking the mushrooms or picking produce. But they'll complain about these Mexicans coming over here and stealing their jobs. What jobs are they stealing? A lot of these people who are complaining are sitting in their mother's basements or living in their mother's houses collecting welfare checks. And they don't have jobs. But they complain about other people who will come over here and do the menial tasks for a few dollars a day. And Megyn Kelly is downgrading these people and talking about them like they're animals. Not knowing these people, not knowing how much they love their families, not knowing how hard they work just to make a few bucks. You have to be some kind of disturbed to carry around that much hatred inside of you. How do you sleep? You're just carrying around a bunch of hatred. Let's finish the clip.
And they take advantage of all of our public services and our systems, and they're not respectful in many cases of their neighbors. It's like it had to end. And the libs held on and said, no. They accused the Trump administration of being racist in both cases. And Trump, to his credit, dug in. And last year, they sought to end TPS for both countries. No more Syrians. Sorry. It's not.
What public services is she speaking about, taking advantage of? Again, these people cannot get medical benefits. They work as hard as they can for a few dollars, and they're protecting and taking care of their families. But again, that internal hatred that she carries around every day. And again, I know a lot of it is for clicks and all that stuff, but she has this hatred inside of her. And a lot of you people do too. Why? I don't understand. If you were on fire and I'm walking by and I had a bucket of water and you're a racist, I guarantee you would be begging me to put you out. But if we flipped the script and it was me and you had a bucket of water, you'd probably pee on me or spit on me. What is with people with this unnecessary racism toward other people? This is not America, people. We're celebrating 250 years of freedom. This is a time where we're supposed to come together as one people and support each other and love each other. But because Donald Trump sits in the White House, he is fomenting this racism. Racism has always been in this country, don't get me wrong. But it's always been just below the surface. Donald Trump has taken the lid off of this stuff. And this is what he's causing. People like Megyn Kelly, people like Stephen Miller. And this just hatred across the country. We're better than this, people. So once again, I digress. And that's going to be all for now. But one thing, Tiger Talk. We're working on coming up with a town hall where we're going to have people from all three, the left, the right, and independents. If you're interested and you live in the Philadelphia area, send us an email at paperclipnewsnow@gmail.com and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll talk about you being in our town hall. But for now, people, that's it. We'll talk to you next time.